Hi everybody, welcome back to the Malbeefance channel. This is episode 9 in our series replay of Strategic Command WW2 War in Europe. So let's go ahead and advance a turn, see what we get, and I'll try and bring you up to speed on some conversations that I've had. Alright, Germany, Italy, and Japan signed the tripartite pact. Now, there are a number of people I've encountered, they thought that this was done before World War II. No, the fighting had already started by the time that this was done. Right. George Formby entertains the troops to raise morale. Actually, you ought to go ahead and look him up. He's actually a interesting entertainer. I'll leave it at that because I know their humor is subjective. All right, British scientists report progress in production technology development is up to 65%, and Soviet Union develops production technology level 1. That is helpful. And look at that. They're only collecting 19 a turn. It's difficult to do anything with that. All right, so let's see what the Axis has in store for us. Now, there's been some discussion about Soviet strategy, and so the crowd is divided between forward defense and falling back and surrendering territory. I guess which strategy is going to be better is going to be dictated by how much of the Soviet army is actually available when the war starts. Okay, so that one submarine went running. 7th Armored formed in Egypt. Yay! Alright, so nothing on the Axis side. Okay. Intelligence spots paratroopers in Luxembourg. And tanks near Gumbinnen. Alright, so from what we've seen along the border, I get the feeling that the computer is getting ready for Operation Barbarossa. Now, I don't like the idea of doing this, but I'm going to pull back from the border a little bit. Not a lot. I really do not like giving up Grodno. That means that's an excellent defensive position, but depending on what you have defending behind the river and what you're getting attacked with, it could be a waste of time to try and defend it. The Pripyat marshes are great defensively, unless they get surrounded. So, all right, let me try something. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong thing. See, I can't get these guys to fortify, and I don't know if is it because I don't have enough production points? So I'm going to take a suggestion, and I'm going to get these guys out to Moscow and see if I can't start them getting defenses there, but I haven't been able to get them to build anything. And I'm not sure if it's because I am low on production points or what. Alright, I'm going to leave the rest of the Russian forces alone. I still like my strategy idea to try and take out Finland as quickly as possible. Assuming I actually have the forces to spare to be able to do it. Alright, so back over here. Alright, so they weren't able to repair the port facilities. Alright, I'm not going to spend any to repair the submarine just yet. So last turn I was talking about moving him to Iceland. So let's do that now. Let's see if we can't track down that submarine. Alright, it looks like he cleared datum, seriously. Alright, well let's not split the fleet up too much. And this group, once again, I'll just have them hanging out. Alright, so let me see, that's the Amazon. She's been resupplied. Let's get her back over here. Oh, what the heck, I'll take the opportunity. And then I gotta repair the Polish destroyer. Do we have enough to repair? Yes, we do. Alright, and now the squadron that I keep forgetting. There we go, that takes care of that. Alright, any movement down here? I like the defensive positions that these guys are in right now. I just wish that I had more units. Alright, so let's go ahead and probe defenses. So no interceptors. Interesting. Interesting. So where is the Luftwaffe? Are they all getting sent all the way over to the Eastern Front? Alright, do I have enough? Yep, we'll go ahead and finish repairing the Triumphant. And that's pretty much going to kill it for British production points. Alright, let's look at research for the United States. So we got 130 points. Now, do I want to bank it? So they've got artillery weapons, they've got mobility, which is good. Aerial warfare. Oh, armored warfare. There we go. Alright, so that's going to do it for the United States. Right now I'm just going to keep banking Soviet production points. Alright, so that's going to do it for this turn. Let's go ahead and advance the turn and see what we get. Italy declares war on Greece. It didn't work out for them last time. See how they do this time. Destroyers for Bases Agreement. HMS Montgomery commissioned at Scapa Flow. Old American four-piper destroyer. Italian forces are deployed in Albania. I'd certainly hope so if they're planning on attacking Greece. Axis raiders disrupt Canada-UK convoys. I think we found that submarine. Ernest Hemingway's For Whom the Bell Tolls is published. All of his stuff were great reads. UK develops long-range aircraft level 1. My only criticism of Hemingway is that he definitely inspired Stephen King when it comes to length of novels. All right. Do we actually get to see anything happen in Greece? Or is this like last time, historically? Mussolini's forces flubbed the whole game. Now, all jokes aside, this does create a situation where do I go to Greece's aid or not? And either answer has its... see, Italian national morale increases as Italy declares war on Greece. Allied raiders disrupt Norway, Germany convoys. President Franklin Roosevelt is re-elected with 55% of the vote. Of course, it took a Democrat to force the United States to create a law where you're only allowed to be president for 2 terms. Military activity summary. Alright, British intelligence spots an Italian corps near the Yugoslav border. Now that Greece has entered the war, we should consider reinforcing their position by sending at least 1 British unit to Greece. Doing so would provide a boost in the morale. Continuing for as long as we have British presence there, and this would increase their ability to defend their country. If the Greeks can hold out, then we could even consider building up for an advance through the Balkans into southern Europe, something the Prime Minister would definitely be in favor of. Send at least 1 British unit to Greece to assist. And there's our 1 unit right there. Alright, need them near a port. All right. So before we do anything else, I'm about to burn a lot of British production points. Oh wow, I can actually get him all that way? Well, let's give it a shot. I know I should have escorts out here with them, but they'll pick up Force H. So let's send Triumphant to help out. My carriers really aren't doing anything. Oh, but they do need to be upgraded. Totally forgot about that. All right. Pull him back into port to get finished mobilizing. How far can I operate this guy? How's about we upgrade him first before I start thinking about that? Okay, so that gets the RAF upgraded for the most part. Holy smokes, 3 sightings. Alright, so where'd this guy go? Are we having trouble seeing him because of the rain? Alright. Alright, well, he's given us the slip. He might be on his way home. Alright. So I gotta get somebody to grease. Alright, continue to knock down the port. What's their supply at? 3. Now he's still good there. Yep. Gotta get more troops down there. Oh, I forgot about him. Let's get that Canadian Corps down here also. Alright, so between these 2 units and the Canadian Corps here, that'll give me somebody that I can go ahead and deploy to Greece. The other 2 will go to Africa. And then next turn, now that they're upgraded, I'll get a squadron of fighters down there also. Alright, so getting back to repositioning the Russians. Oh, there we go, finally. Awesome. Whoops. That was not what I was trying to do. There we go. Alright, so it was a question of having enough production points available. Alright, now I know. Do I want to give up Kelnis and Wilno? Not really. I really don't like surrendering all of this territory right from the get-go. But if I don't have the troops to defend it, then all I'm doing is throwing straw into the fire. Now, I'm not happy about it, but I really don't have a choice the way I see it. Alright, so we got Tobruk isolated. So hopefully we can start working on knocking down the defenses soon. Their supply is getting low, but their entrenchment is high. So it's going to be a bit before we can actually assault the city. And it doesn't help the Italians have an entire army in here. But hopefully I'll have a carrier down here, some fighter planes pretty soon, and we can start speeding things up. Alright, so what's next? Alright, research and development for the United States. Alright, so 130 again. We got armored warfare going. Do I want to bank it? They're about to make a breakthrough on naval warfare. That's awesome. You know what? I'm going to bank it so that way we can hit spying and intelligence next turn. All right, so in that case, and we're going to bank the Soviets 91. All right. All right, so humming right along here. Let's go ahead and advance a turn. See what happens. Heavy seas, hit the javelin. Partisans clash with police during Armistice Day commemorations. UK develops armored warfare level 1. That couldn't have happened at a better time. There's our ledger for next turn. Boy howdy, England is pretty much carrying everybody at the moment. Hey, German destroyers have come out to play. Awesome. So we finally see the Kriegsmarine. Other than the U-boats. Okay, so those German forces just pulled back from the border after coming up to it. Okay, what was the point of Italy declaring... I shouldn't even ask that question because that applies historically as well. All right, Allied raiders disrupt Norway, Germany convoys. And who is that? That is our Polish destroyer, whose name I won't even attempt to pronounce. All right. So intelligence spots core near Lublin. And the formidable aircraft carrier is ready. And a Soviet destroyer joins the fleet. All right, so let's start with the Soviet Union. So I think I've got these guys back about as far as I want to go with them. All right, so Greece. Finished getting him mobilized. Can I actually purchase any Greek units? Garrisons. Get them fighters. Let's hold off on that for the moment. So I just advanced here just to see what they could see, and now I know. So since this is Greek territory, I'll leave those guys there. For the moment, anyway. Alright, so supply for Tobruk does not seem to be going down any. So until I have something to be able to break the defenses, it doesn't look like we're going to do any good. Well, with that being the case, let's go ahead and see if we can't make ourselves more of a nuisance. do we go after the destroyers? Oh, I certainly would. Yeah, I know there's submarines out there. Oh, nice. Very good. I'd like to get him into the fight, but I gotta be careful how I send him up there. I don't want him to get spotted. But I have a chance to sink a destroyer, so I realize I just gave away his position by doing that. But we were able to take out a destroyer. Try and cover the carrier as best I can. Actually, no. Alright, so hopefully that can do something for us to help with the Tobruk situation. So it looks like we may have chased off the submarines for the moment. Alright, so I am going to send the Cinnabon over to England for repairs. Close up shop around the carrier. Alright, so we moved everybody down in the Mediterranean that we want to move. So I'm going to leave that light cruiser there. He's kind of guarding the landing zone here. Alright, Germany loses 1 production point. Every little bit helps. Alright. Anything else? Troop movement, that sort of thing. Nope, I don't think so. Alright, so we got 200 left. I'm going to put that into getting level 2 weapons, get that going. United States is up to 255. put 150 into spying and intelligence. That leaves 100. So I'm going to be me, and I'm going to double spend in logistics. You can never have enough onions. I'm going to need 200 to be able to get the Soviets operating on their next industrial technology level. Grr. Alright, well, we'll just have to play it by ear. I'll bank it, and maybe next turn I'll do infantry warfare. That can help them out against the Germans. Alright, so where are we at? Anybody else want to do anything with? Actually, I do want to try, see if I have enough. No, there's only 2 points. Okay. I was going to see if I couldn't do some repair work on that submarine, but that is not the case. Alright, well, we got a small convoy heading in the Western Mediterranean, heading for Greece and Egypt. So that's good. That's positive. Hopefully we can slip them past the Italian Navy. So, haven't seen the Italian Navy show up yet. Maybe we'll get lucky. Not sure where the Luftwaffe went. So, alright. Well, that is going to do it for this turn. That is also going to do it for this episode. As always, thank you very much. If you made it this far, by all means, drop a like, leave a comment. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Helps grow the channel. If you know somebody who likes this kind of stuff, by all means share this video with them. Love to have them on as a regular viewer. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell if you're so inclined. And as always, thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.